because of, going out there? Did everything make sense? Like when I was talking about sieving and talking about seining, did it make more sense to you now that we actually got to do it?
Yeah.
So
I think it made a lot more sense, especially after we went out and did it, because for us, part of this is going on our exam. So if I'm sitting there and racking my brain on a question about seining, I'm going to know exactly what to write because I actually experienced it, and I'm going to be able to remember what to write because I did it myself. I didn't read about someone else doing it. I felt like a biologist for at least a day, and that was such a great experience to have.
I know a lot of times we have textbooks and they always say numbers and you tag animals and release them and everything, especially in the ecology that we've been learning this year. But you never truly understand what that is until you go out and actually get to collect the animals, collect all the organisms, tag them, count them, collect different organisms, and actually see how the environment changes in different areas. To actually go out and do it, you don't understand.
Yeah, I completely agree. Kind of going off of what Sanaya was saying, when you're sitting there in an exam and you're trying to answer a question about ecology, instead of trying to remember that picture in the book that had the description of what seining was, you actually have that personal experience that you can go off of. You know exactly what they're talking about for our DBQ questions, and they ask for background knowledge. You have that background knowledge because you've personally done it, not you're trying to remember it from a section in the book.
Do you think you scored better on your test because of this experience?
Yes,
Definitely.
Somebody needs to say that.
I think I scored
With conviction.
I definitely think I scored a lot better on my test because of the experience than I would have if I was just learning it out of the book.
That's
Can I just a couple more things?
Yeah,
Can I
sure.
run
Yeah,
back?
go ahead.
When we were on the boat, and I had talked before we went. We talked about Secchi disc and plankton net and stuff, but the equipment that we did on the boat on the way in those two different locations before we went to the island, was that new equipment to you? Had you ever experienced that stuff before? Or had you ever even heard of a Secchi disc before?
I mean, all the equipment that we were able to gain from the grant was completely foreign to me. We had something called a salinity refractometer, and that's where you put a drop of the bay water. We had this called the salinity refractometer, and you basically put a drop of the water on here from the pipette, and then you pointed it to the sun, and you would look through the the telescope hole, and it basically gave you it gives you the salinity. And to me, that's so cool, and I never would have gotten an opportunity to use something like this without going on this trip. So just something as simple as that is so awesome. Or the thing that we all kind of geeked out about the most were waterproof notebooks. We thought they were so cool. We all went crazy for the waterproof notebooks, and as silly as that sounds, that's not something ever we would get to use on a regular basis when you're sitting in class. So it had a real world application for us.
Someone say the Secchi disc? What's that about?
Okay, I'll show you. Hey, and then with this Secchi disc, it was to measure the clarity of the water when we were in the bay and in the channel. And it was really cool because we would stand on the side of the boat and we would just kind of drop it in, and there's little tick marks on it of different colors measuring half a meter and a whole meter. And so you would just drop it in until there's black and white, until you couldn't tell the difference between the black and the white. And then you'd start to bring it back up a little bit until you could clearly see the difference, and then you would take note of what notch it was at, and that was the clarity of the water. So that was really cool to see.
Those are awesome stories. I think that's great, guys. God, I want to go on the next trip.
Also, Ms. Oliver drank plankton.
Oh yes.
With this, we won't have that.
But no, just for you guys, we're being real, because we would drag this behind the boat, and all the plankton would go through the net into the bottle. And I guess it's a biology initiation thing on a boat, but the new guy drinks the plankton. So
You're in.
and it wasn't just Miss Oliver. A lot of students decided that they would drink the plankton. So that was
It's
really
just
funny.
water with some little it's
little live
harmless.
organisms in it.
It's
yeah.
harmless though. It's
Protein.
yeah.
Think every time
Yes.
Protein.
Yes, absolutely. In some countries, it's considered a delicacy.
plankton.
So, well, I think we got it. You guys were amazing, and thank you so much. And it's going to make such a difference at the event, and you'll be able to